Okay, let's see my solution. For my solution, I'm doing the input here. So I'm grabbing the user input. And I'm doing that inside the iteration. So, it will be multiple rounds until the user types a quit. So when the user really types a quit, and then I want to quit the iteration by doing a break. So a break means I'm gonna finish the entire iteration and jumping out of this iteration. Okay, and then otherwise, I want to grab the description of a fruit name from the dictionary, right? And then how do I do so? There is a nice built-in function for us to do so. That is, we can do a get. So for the get, I'm specifying a key so that I can get the value on the corresponding key. So for example, if I have the apple as a key, and then when I'm doing the get using the apple, and then it will fetch the description of the apple for me. And if such key does not exist in the dictionary, and then, that's the second parameter. The second parameter will be the backup or the backup return value. So if such key does not exist, and then we are going to return the second parameter. That is, we don't have such a key. Okay, so this is a nice trick, and we can avoid doing a test. Otherwise, we have to check whether we have such a key in the dictionary or not. Okay, so if you don't know this trick, if you don't know the built-in get function, and then you may do that in a different way, but it doesn't matter. But anyhow, this is how we can use the dictionary. And moving on, I really want to show you how you can use the dictionary to build a really smart design of a code. This code is not easy. This code is not easy if you are using the most straightforward way to code that. And I would say you are likely to use more than 100 lines of code to code that if you code that in a brute force way. And then I'm showing you how you can use a really smart way to code that. Okay, so let's see this question. The question is, assume that Dr. Mark is daydreaming and he is in this virtual map in his dream. There are 5 locations. And we also want to number them. So 1 for the road, and 2 for the hill, and 3 for the building, 4 for the valley, and 5 for the forest. Okay, and then for each location, there are possible ways that we can go to the other location. So for example, if we have the valley, and then if we are at the valley, and then we go the west side, and then he will go to the hill. Or if you are at the valley, and then you go to the north, and you will go to the road. Okay, and then we created a dictionary. This dictionary will show you the number of the location and then the description. So for the number 0, and that will be the reality. So in the reality, he's really sitting in front of his computer and doing Python. And then for the number 1, and number 1 will be the road. And number 2 will be here, the hill, right? So for each of the location, we have the number as the key, and then the description will be the values. So that is for the first one, the location. And the really smart one is the second. Those are the axes. So for each of the location, there are possible axes that you can go to different other places. So for example, let me take this one, which is the 1. Okay, so let me say that first. This one is a list of dictionaries. Okay, a list of the dictionary. And then for each of the dictionary, it shows possible axes for the current location. And the current location is the current index. Okay, so let me highlight this one. So for this one, that is the second member of the list of the dictionaries. So what's the index of this dictionary? That is 1, right? So if you go to the map, what is the location 1? The location 1 is the road. So for the location of the road, we can go north, south, east, and west. Okay, so if we want to go north, and then if we want to go north, we will go to the location 5. So let's check that. So if we are at the location 1, we want to go north. And yes, that is the location 5. Let's check another one. So if we want to go south, and we will go to location 4. So let's say, so we are at 1 and we want to go south, and then that is the location 4. So that's correct. So for the location 1, we can go to all the other possible locations. However, if you want to check the location 4, and the location 4 has limited choices, we can go north, we can go west, but we cannot go east, for example. And well, there is also a possible exit. The exit is, well, if we want to press a Q, which is for quit, and then we will go to the location 0. And what is the location 0? And location 0 is you are sitting in front of a computer doing Python. Haha. And then we finish. Okay, so well, the tricky or the smart design is, well, we are creating a list of the dictionaries, and for each of the dictionary, it shows or it records what are the possible directions we can go. And if we follow that direction, say for example we are following that direction to the north, and what will be the next stop, and in this case it will be 5. Okay, so we are going to make use of the location dictionary, and then the axis, the list of the dictionaries, and then we are going to try to finish this program. So for this program, it will interact with the user. We are going to start from the road, and then we want to tell the user what are the possible ways the user can go. And if the user says, I want to go to the west, and then it will update the location. So now the location will be on the hill, and again we want to tell the user, okay, you are on the hill, and then those are the possible directions you can go. You can go to north, you can go to east, or you can press the Q to finish. So, well, let's just control Dr. Mark and then let him daydreaming, wandering in a virtual world for a while, and eventually if we want to press a Q, and then well, he wakes up, and then you can tell you are sitting in front of a computer doing Python, haha, and then you finish this program. Okay, so the possible way to finish this program will be that when the user press Q, and then Dr. Mark wakes up from the daydreaming, and then he he will just see the reality. That is, he's sitting in front of a computer and then doing Python. And I just noticed that I have already shown you my solution. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, anyhow, I was supposed to give you a couple of the blanks so you can fill in those by yourself. Okay, well, since I have already shown you my solution, I don't have to pause for 5 seconds and ask you to code. Okay, well, anyhow, here is the last thing. The last thing is you want to grab a friend to be your coding buddy. Well, it's important for you to work with someone else, because the process of coding while you thinking, or you think aloud, and you think, you type, and then you talk, well, this is the process that you can really do something, and then after you learn from each other, you can really remember, because you do that, and when you are doing that, you also talk about that. So that's very important, and that's the reason that I like the idea of the pair programming. But when you are doing the pair programming, make sure it is a real pair programming. Well, if one person be the driver all the time, and the driver doesn't talk too much, and then it doesn't really help the other person. So when you are doing the pair programming, make sure you are pairing with a person who has roughly the same level of the coding skill. So when you are coding, and you can really learn from each other. Okay, and especially if you want to, when you start to do the interviews, and then you can always sit with your coding buddy, and you can tell, okay, in today's interview I had this question, and then this is my answer. How do you think about my answer? So you start to give each other mock interviews, and that will be helpful, because job seeking part, or job hunting will be a long and tedious process. And if you're doing that all by yourself, and sometimes you just feel so frustrated, or sometimes you feel so lazy, I just want to have a day off. And then if you have a coding buddy, and then you can always encourage each other. And I think that will be important. Oh, by the way, well, probably now you may want to start thinking about your plan for the summer. I understand this might be the last summer break because after you finish this program, you will go to the industry and there will be no summer break in the future. But think about that. Do you want to feel like you want to do a summer intern, or you want to do some summer research, or you just want to have the last summer break? Okay, so well, that's it for today, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.